Hey guys, welcome back. We got some more Project F stuff going on today. I guess our ultimate goal is actually being able to put it onto the subframe here today. Looking at this, we'll need to actually figure out, move all this stuff, the two transmissions here to get the motor on, but we're now at that point where it could really go on, and then once it's on there, we can work on the fabricating the exhaust portion here. So some more discussion between me and Tristan. We measured these. I thought this was inch and or just or 2 inches. This is 2.5 inches. Turns out this is actually 2 1/4 inches. So that big wastegate, the 60 mil we have, is 2.5 inches. It actually wouldn't even fit on here without some kind of reducer. So that's kind of an L, but you know, it's whatever. It was a good idea to do it, you know, from where it collects here. But I think now we've kind of discussed what we're gonna do.
We've been receiving nothing but L's since the start of this project.
True. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this portion off right here. We're going to get an 1 7/8 to an 1 1/4 reducer. So I guess not reducer, it's going to expand. And then from there, we're going to have a V-band. And then from that V-band, it's going to 90 over here. And then we're going to cut it probably just after the water pump here. Cut that. We'll have a bellow right here that will connect to the 90 that goes there. So that way, just like this side, we'll have a V-band. And it will come to the correct size, and we won't have to deal with this kind of joint. We can even drill with the notcher tool, a 30 mil wastegate. So we'll have two 30 mil wastegates. So we'll have good priority for either side. Just add another one of these to this exhaust pipe here. And so far that is our plan, what we're gonna go with. First off, we need to be able to get it on the car, or on the subframe. Then we can kind of figure out those details. But I think that's the best case scenario for this thing. It'll make it way better having two V-bands on either side. We can remove the exhaust easily if we need to do maintenance. Right now Tristan's getting the alternator bracket coolant crossover on. Got new O-rings for these guys and just bolting it up. The pulley does come pretty close to the turbo flange, so that kind of sucks. Once it's fully bolted up, it'll be, you know, farther away, but something to consider with that. And then you can see this jerry-rigged mount I made. This is for the coils. Not permanent. It might be permanent. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It's at least going to be modified, you know.
Modified, or this is, you know, prototype 1. It's the prototype stages here. Looking at old photos off the old fuel rail, it actually did sit off this somehow. We don't know where the bracket is. I actually bolted it to it, but it would sit about right here looking at our photos. This doesn't actually really need to be anchored down. I've seen Garner's video on his, when he had a Turbo 3800 in it, it was kind of just in here. It wasn't really anchored down very hard. So this bracket is pretty sturdy. I mean, obviously it wobbles, but we'd make it out of better material. This is just some scrap, like really crappy aluminum strips I had lying around. We could even make it out of steel. But ideally want it to kind of get closer to the engine and a bit lower, not to interfere with the injectors. Yeah, this is coming along. Once we have it on there, we can start, you know, mocking up the exhaust portion of it. We need to kind of like categorize everything that we need to buy, make a total list of this stuff. So once we get to that point where we're going to be welding it up and everything, we, you know, have everything in place how we need it. We can easily take this off and cut it. We have the Diablo stainless steel cut-off disc there. So just cut that off cleanly. We'll cut off this portion cleanly. Then we can kind of, you know, go A to B here with it. And make it better than it was before with the bellow, so both sides are allowed to kind of move independently. And then also the V-band for, you know, more serviceability down the road. Because if we can take off the front part of the turbo setup, we can get to the log manifolds much easier, get to the spark plugs, get to other maintenance items.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really adamant about, is that we put V-bands on it to where it can just like unhook at least the front portion so that we can work on the motor when needed.
Yeah, we could just disconnect the downpipe. We'll also have a V-band possibly under where it dumps to the kind of like stock catback location would be, that we can take off the downpipe and then we can take off the front and then we can service it however we need to. Be much easier. We're also going to be buying the feed, so like a -4 and off the sandwich plate to the top of this, and then a -10 that'll go down to the oil pan drain right there. We'll need to measure that, see how long we need it. But yeah, we're just putting this on, kind of just putting on the accessories while we can have the access here once it's going to be on the subframe. It's not going to be on the best position. I was thinking maybe we can even raise the subframe on jack stands or something, just so it's kind of easier to work with, not just straight on the ground. I'm probably going to start getting these motor mounts on. I'm interested to see what it looks like on this K-member, how much room we're going to have.
I'm excited just to see it, like, you know, blue engine on red K-member. It's just going to look good.
Yep. Yeah, looking good. I'm hoping that, like, once we get it on here and I get my new welder, like I mentioned before, I'm buying a AHP 203XI. That will allow us to weld up this turbo manifold and all the other fabrication we need really, really nicely. Timeline-wise for the Camaro, once we have it on the subframe, and then once we have it under the car, it's just all electrical stuff at that point, and then getting the intake portion done. Then we can fire it up. I'm hoping maybe, like, around springtime it should be running.
I hope so, too.
But yeah, we're going to go ahead and just kind of get these accessories on. I'll dig up the power steering pump and
what the hell?
probably some of the other parts that we'll need. Pretty excited. We'll need to find a place for this guy, like I said.
Yeah.
Big old guy.
Hey, for sale.
For sale.
For sale.
All right, guys, so we unfortunately can't find the power steering pump for some reason, but we kind of got the belt on kind of where it needs to go. So off the crank, it'd go up to the power steering on the rib side, and it'll go up to the top of the alternator. Alternator goes down. We need a idler sitting in this area here. Then off the idler comes up over the tensioner, and the tensioner wraps around the water pump and then around the crank again. That way we'll have good tension.
We're going to get probably a different harmonic balancer that's actually fitted for the L36. So that, because I feel that this is just a lot of rotating mass that's just not needed, considering I'm not going supercharged anymore.
But this
is just what we have.
Only concern with that is it balanced with the rotating assembly?
Yeah. And we didn't really do that with the Bonneville either, because I think we're running the wrong flex plate now.
In your Bonneville? No, you're not. Yeah. No, we got an L67.
Oh, no, we did buy a different one. There's something up with that.
In the Bonneville? What do you mean?
Yeah, there's something that's not like, we didn't actually have everything perfect for the balancing. We just didn't care. There's something. I can't remember. I'll have to sit there and think, or go back in our videos and watch.
You replaced the flex plate with Elliott, so that's L67.
That is L67.
The balancer is wobbly, so maybe that's just your unbalancedness on your Bonneville.
It's not like something I feel. It's just I remember that we didn't care that much.
I don't think so. No, we have a correct balancer of a correct flex plate, and that's it. You didn't get the rotating balance. You didn't get the rotating assembly balance, but I mean, it was the same rotating assembly that came with the motor, so.
And it is L67. Yeah.
Sure, it'll be fine. And you have your balance shaft in. And it's timed.
Okay.
Anyways, that's kind of off topic. Anyways. So, we can't find the power steering pulley. We're going to keep looking around here. It should be somewhere. I think at this point, we're going to kind of just clean up, reorganize everything, and then...
So get it on the...
Yeah, get it on the subframe. We'll get the motor mounts on, and then get the subframe on the engine lift. Or no, we got to hooked it up to the engine lift and then get the subframe on top of the engine lift so we can drop it down. We have a video where me and Vince put the motor on the subframe previously. That's kind of the only way we could do it, because the reach isn't very good.
Yeah.
So let's clean up and get shit out of the way and get this this thing rolling. All right, guys, so we got the subframe out over here. We're going to roll the engine lift kind of over here. Get it on, connect it to the engine. Then, well, we probably want to do it right over here. That way, once we have the engine on, we can kind of roll it over here, then lift up the subframe, put it on the legs of the engine lift, then drop it down, line it up, and get it bolted on finally. And then, if we're able to, with it still on the legs of this, kind of roll it in here, and then put it on jack stands so it's elevated off the ground properly, just so we have more height and are able to kind of build the turbo kit a little bit more to what it's going to look like. So now we're getting these motor mounts on. Yep. There we go. Set it to 3. All right, guys, we got the motor on the subframe. As you can see, did bolt up to this Spoon Performance subframe. We got that through. I'm honestly thinking, well, if we're ever to pull this motor, we would do it from, you know, doing this, you know, just ease of removing the motor. I think if we had the bolts flipped, it'd be better for it. But I don't think we're planning on removing the motor without pulling the whole subframe like this anytime soon. So
yeah,
not the biggest concern. We'd have to go through that process again, which would kind of suck. Let me see if I grab the right freaking sockets. I did not. 17 or 18. This side kind of pushed some of the bushing out, but I think it's going to be fine. It was just odd that it would do that. But we got it through, so we're just going to get the nuts on, and from there we kind of need to figure out, just like move this as one unit on the engine lift here over into the garage.
Hey, I think it's tight.
Really? This side's so loose. I think that side was just really bound up. That's why it kind of went on harder.
Ow. Yeah, not gonna happen.
Why not?
So what size is that one?
This is 18 mil. I don't know about the other side. Let me see. I think I put a 15 mil on the other side. Yeah, 15 mil. Look at that, guys. Project F's engine's in the subframe again.
Okay.
All right. What a sight to behold. That looks like performance if I've ever seen it.
You know, I thought it looked super weird, but because the subframe is like all cocked on there.
Yeah.
In fact, let's roll it off now.
No, we gotta, well, I guess we can lift it up onto jack stands over here without this, right? We want to be able to lift it a little bit, you know?
Maybe we should keep that, actually.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe we can just...
we're gonna need 3 people.
I don't think so. I think we could do it. We just got to be able to swap it kind of over this way and then kind of have it more centered in the garage so that we can work on it, you know?
Do we need this jack under it?
It's probably good idea, just so it doesn't tip over. Let's get it more centered on the engine lift. Guys, I'm probably not going to record this. We've got a lot of time lapse already. We're going to go ahead and put this on here and kind of get into position where we want it in the garage. All right, guys, look at this. We got it all on jack stands. We got it almost perfectly level. It basically is a little bit tilted backwards a little bit, just by like 1 degree, but level this way perfectly. It's just right at 0. And there's no slack on this, and it's not going anywhere, so. Yeah, we could try raising.
How could that possibly be level?
It's not.
Like, how could your phone say that is?
I checked from this,
like,
so.
Kneel down.
No, I know. I see how bad it is. We should either lift up this side or we should lower that side. If we lower that side, it'd give us better room with that. Let's just do that real fast. It's triggering my OCD, as they would say.
As people with OCD would say.
Guys, we're going to take care of this. We'll be right back. All right, guys, so finally got it set. We took the wheels off. We should have just kind of done that from the beginning. And then we made sure that everything, all 4 corners are supporting weight. Nothing can move on its own. There we go.
Just smash it into the car.
Yeah. Then we got a ratchet strap to kind of hold the struts straight up, because otherwise these were just like tilted far out and kind of just seemed a little unsafe. Also, if someone accidentally, you know, walks into it, bumps it, you don't want that happening. But we have 4 jack stands under there. We're gonna have to find some room for the wheels, probably just somewhere over here. I mean, I guess we could even put them on top of the spare wheels over there. But now with this, I mean, we can start fabricating the whole turbo system, and as you can see here, like, this is just representative of it, but you can see that the exhaust pipe will sit perfectly under there. Now that there's no AC, it won't come in contact with the wall here. We'll kind of just keep it as close to it as possible, be a little conservative since it's not actually in the car. Give it some room for the plug coils. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool seeing it like this now. And then we're also thinking, once it comes down to kind of a stock location right here, putting a V-band on, so where it'll turn down to a normal exhaust.
Yeah, like right here where this exhaust will be.
Yep.
Yeah, we want this car most of all to be easy to work on.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of, you know, giving ourselves more work with how it's set up, you know, with the turbo system, more complexity. So any way that we can make it easier to work with this system, the better.
Yeah, let's be honest, this is a 3800. It's gonna need some work.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with what I did with like squaring up the rear and front covers and stuff, the oil pan won't leak. And
we can hope.
And then how much, you know, prep we did for all the gasket services. There won't be any vacuum leaks and no coolant leaks.
You saw how Bonneville did this thing?
Because, yeah, I mean, once we have a V-band on this side, we can take off the front portion of the turbo system. We can even remove the manifolds if we need to get to, like, the plugs. Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna grab this.
We just put the whole transmission on the dolly.
I was thinking about that.
Do you want to do it?
Maybe.
Let's try it.
Also, I bet I could get this.
Wait.
I bet I could get this.
What bullshit are you doing? Why? Oh, you're gonna move it like that? Oh.
Work smarter, not harder, kids.
I guess so.
Don't mind that.
So loud.
Okay, so
We'll just need to move we'll just move this trash out of the way in this here, and we'll get this in place. Alright guys, we're back. It's been a little bit. We got everything kind of situated over here. Unfortunately, ran into a huge problem that we just completely overlooked. I don't know. I feel like we've tested it, and I don't know.
Do you guys see the defeat in his eyes?
It sucks. So, we got the turbo up here, and we got the throttle body on, and this is the 90, the Sharp 90 we're going to use. And as you can see, it very much comes in like where the throttle body is going to be. If we had a silicone adapter on it, it would literally touch it.
And melt it.
And melt it. We did have this North Star throttle body, just a C, and that makes almost no difference. Just, it'll still touch it. We could do a, you know, screamer pop up like that. That'll work perfectly. But obviously we're not doing a head exit. So we're kind of just brainstorming what we can do because this really sucks.
This turbo kit, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it is. The only value this thing gives us is the front-facing manifolds, which, I mean, down the road we might be skilled enough to make front-facing manifolds. This might be, I don't know, Tristan said they just took pipes and kind of made the kit.
It looks like it. I mean, like, literally every runner is different.
Yeah.
So it's like, especially that back one is this, like, why?
Yeah. And
the way that they did this is just makes me want to die.
What's really sucky is, I don't know where my triangle went. Here we go.
Where did you try to go? Oh, there it is.
You can see the distance between this pipe and the cylinder head is, you know, short. This one is much larger. So, I mean, just visualizing it, you can see that this manifold is pointing this way.
Yeah, and
like it's
do you see this?
Inwards.
Do you see this extra material they added here? It's much less here.
I don't know if they did it for clearance or whatnot, but our problem is that the V-band is kind of pushing it this way, where if we can cut it, notch it like this, make it actually a straight edge.
Yeah. Here, let me see the camera real quick, because if you look at it just like that, you can see perfectly how angled that goes in.
Yeah, it comes in this way.
Exactly, and that's not what we want because, well, now that that's like that, and I guess we didn't test fit it since the throttle body got put on, just like he was saying.
The point of mentioning this is our goal now is we're going to have to now move the flange over this way just a little bit.
Like an inch.
We took the bolts off and kind of moved it, and it seems like the edge of the thing should be about right here. So now what we're thinking is we can cut this at an angle to make it come out actually straight now, or maybe even tilt it a little bit.
Yeah.
That way we can make a new pipe, cut off right here, or if we can make this work just with the new angle, do that.
Yeah, we're gonna try that, but then we might just get this piece have an actual 90, because this doesn't look like it's a full 90. Get a full 90.
It's
so
like
if it comes
wide,
out like
wide
this,
90. If we have a sharp 90, it'd probably work.
Yeah, because we're gonna need to cut some of that, cut some of this out for this to go sideways.
Basically, our goal is to, you know, now cut that, relocate where this flange is so it's a little bit more this way, giving us more room, because we knew it was going to come closer to the throttle body and the intake, but this is completely obstructing it.
Yeah, more work than we were thinking we were gonna have to do, but that's literally every single step that.
Yeah, we just completely overlooked this. I swear we checked and it just didn't work. Once we get our new welder and we buy the materials that we will need, it'll be, you know, just having to cut it and then execute doing the welding. just make sure everything's measured. I mean, now that we have it on our stand here, our jig, whatever you want to call it, I think it'll be easy to kind of get everything in order how we need it.
Yeah, but besides that, we're gonna tonight buy everything that we think that we need.
Yeah, we're gonna go in the office, just get everything we need,
and we're gonna come back next week and hopefully have some of it to work on. There's definitely like more things engine wise that we need to do to it.
We need to get a new power steering pump. We need to get the new lines for the power steering.
Yeah, we need to get like the oil drain and feed lines.
Yep.
We need to get just random stuff. Like I mean, we have that whole list that we could go to.
We should probably mark some of those off now.
And we should also maybe put that inside because there's some things that we need to buy on there too.
Yeah. So let's see.
Like the injector O-rings, we're just gonna have to buy a new set.
That. It's all coil bracket. We kind of made one. We kind of showed you.
Yeah,
earlier,
let's keep that on there because we might change it.
Bolt on engine mounts.
Boom.
Bolt mounted subframe. Mock-up turbo manifold. That's
like an ongoing problem.
Yeah. Delete AC box. You can still do that. Power steering, can't do that. Shorten bolt on circuit, can't do that yet. Install subframe motor trans in the Camaro. Nope. Okay, so those are the items that we marked off. Just getting that on there, getting the brackets on.
So, install sensors into limb.
Yeah.
What ones were those?
What do you mean?
The
upper.
Lower intake? Oh,
Upper.
okay. That's not the limb then.
Shut up. It's the intake. Intake manifold.
Okay.
But yeah, we have, we also need the coolant temperature sensor. We need the intake air temperature sensor. We need the map sensor. We need the brake booster vacuum line. We need to get the power steering pump on. We need to plug up that hole there because that has water behind it.
We need to get
an idler pulley. We need to get the belt. And we don't need it, but replace the balancer with the Camaro one. Shit.
Damn, it's gonna be a few $100s at least of stuff I gotta get.
Yeah, we'll go over it tonight. And this is kind of the biggest L, is just why.
Yeah,
we knew it was going to come close.
Thought it'd be solid, but we thought we knew that it'd come close.
I said this from the beginning. We should have kept the supercharger case because the supercharger case would have had a plate right here, and we could have made the intake however we wanted it.
Yeah. It would have just had its own series of problems.
There are drawbacks for that one because the biggest is the thermostats back here, and we could weld on like an AN bung and then do an inline thermostat, but that's still just
at that point we didn't even think that we're gonna be able to weld aluminum. That's kind of the whole reason we ditched the supercharger. Now
that's your reason. I said we should.
Now if you buy this welder, we're gonna have 2 welders that are capable of welding aluminum.
Well, this one.
All right, guys, we're going back to supercharger.
Yeah, we're ditching this turbo.
Ditch it all. We're selling it.
I just think it would have been better with the supercharger casing, but it does have its own drawbacks for sure. There's a lot of shit that it would have been different with it.
Yeah.
But that's that sucks with this. And like I said, we tried it with the smaller throttle body. That doesn't even work.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even though that this is like an inch smaller of an opening.
Yep.
It doesn't. Actually, it's far closer than I thought it would be.
All right, guys, the recording from last weekend I don't know what happened to the ending. It's gone, but I'm just going to make one right now. It's actually Friday, so tomorrow we are going to be working on Project F here. We have some of the stuff that we're going to need. So some of these 2 1/4 V-bands. We got 2 of those. We got this stainless. This is all the parts we bought are stainless here. This is a vibrant bellow, so this allows for some movement. It's like a flex joint. It's a little bit stronger than a normal flex joint for the added turbo pressures. We're going to see if it works. Some people say they are good, and I've seen lots of people use these with some pretty high boost stuff, so don't imagine there'll be a problem with it, but if there is, we'll just blow up the turbo, it's fine. We got this vibrant UJ piece here, so this is all mandrel bent, better than, whatever this stuff is. We're going to use this to kind of create the turbo manifold, like I showed you in that photo earlier. I'll just put it on screen again real fast. We'll be able to chop this up. We're obviously using the flange still, and then we can use this piece of straight of the front of it. Then we can build it how we're going to, because I picked up my new welder. It should be coming near the beginning of March, I think. They're shipping it the end of February. So we have that to look forward to. We'll be able to, fabricate up this whole turbo manifold system and get going with it. We have the oil drain. We're waiting on the oil feed. We got the fitting for that. We have this already plugged into our oil pan. And we got the AC delete plate. It also deletes the heater box, but I think we're going to modify the box that's in the car so that Tristan can retain the heating, defrosting, and stuff, because that'll be useful. You kind of just cut up the box and then have the two ports for the heater hoses that go to it. But that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out some of our other videos. Leave a like on the video. It helps YouTube push it. You did amazing with the last video. Got over 1,000 views in the first 24 hours, which has never happened, so it's amazing. So thank you guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.